is a living lab for the future. People come here from all over the world and exchange their research and ideas. Yes And is a way to share their inspiring stories so that we can build a more awakened world together.
Welcome to Yes And Oleg. It's such a pleasure to have you as our first guest here to really open with us this way of sharing extraordinary stories with the people that will be watching us on this video.
I am Oleg Cherny. My family name Oleg Cherny. 56 years old. All my life I am on the way of the practice, but probably very difficult to understand how and why I am started, because I born in the Soviet Union. It was another country, close country, and we had not external freedom. It was my way to internal freedom, communicate with myself. At the same time, I was very weak. I had a lot of illness, and also I fall down from roof. I was destroyed completely. It pushed me do something. It's a way looking something, and all my life I am prisoner of practice, and probably in 35 years old when I really understood power of life. And all what is around and all interest external was in my background, and I never looked too much about this. So this is maybe important for me. So it's fighting with myself. It's my lozung, it's my philosophy. In all rest, it's my personality. Maybe not so interesting. Interesting is probably what I know now.
And I called you Oleg, but maybe I should call you Chom, or maybe I should call you Benchilero. I've always been very struck by this thing that you have so many names. Why?
All right, you can call me like you wish. For me, it's very normal when people call me different. But first, my name is Chom. Chom is like mantra name. Has strong history because I started in Soviet Union, and in Soviet Union, even you practice some meditation or energetical practices, you can be prisoner. Is real. And KGB watched me 10 years. So I describe with my name Chom. So I was be recognizable person. It was natural for me. This is my first name. Second name is Benchilero. Is related with my Latin American tradition. I spent a lot of time in Latin America, in Castaneda, and was idea change personal history, and I wanted to change all. Nobody must not know about my history, so this is my initiation name, Benchilero.
So Chom, excuse me if I understood correctly, is your mantra name and was also necessary to protect you, because what you were doing in the Soviet Union at that time was really extraordinary and not legal. You've been really avant-garde in bringing spirituality into the Soviet Union at the time.
And it's real was danger.
It was really
even
dangerous.
You do something like this, you could be prisoner.
Yes, and then your name Benchilero, to connect you to the tradition of South America shamanism that you studied very in depth, and was also a way for you to say this is a completely new identity.
Yes,
new history.
It's Latin American's story. It's not just South America. Also, I communicated with Castaneda, Carlos Castaneda. It was a line when I was away from society. It's like this. Third name is Gleb Cherny. Gleb Chorny is name related with Celtic tradition. I studied about liquids, about different orders like Templars, and I related with some people from this group who also related with ideas about Graal, about idea of transformation, philosophical stone. It's like this, and I here and also this name push me in research a lot of about liquids, water, after wine, all different liquids, and I write a lot of article, and I used my used nickname Gleb Chorny. Another name is related with Sufism. I studied Sufism. Also, I studied art of parfumer's work. So
scents and essences and perfumes.
Yeah, and also I'm perfumer.
You're an alchemical perfumer, from what I know.
Yeah.
Not just a perfumer,
yeah,
right?
Of course,
alchemical perfumer.
Only alchemical product. It's like it's Gleb Chorny. I started make a lot of high frequency liquids for change food, be independent from typical food. So it's and my real name Oleg Chorny I just used last 5 years. Before it's nobody could understand who I am, because different books with different names was normal for me, but now I more often use my real name, because I am thinking I must try my ego and my personality with this name.
And see if you can make a synthesis of all the other yous around the world in one.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting for me observing this. But each name has different history, and also I didn't want to be in society, so I long time prepared myself for be away of society. I 10 years prepared. I live in a mountain, and I didn't know. Then I returned. It's my teacher.
In the mountains where?
In China.
In China.
Yeah. So this is typical. Yes, one more serious name for me, of course, Zikun.
Zikun, that's a Chinese name.
It's Taoist name.
Taoist
name. Is my special profile, of course, is Taoist alchemy. 35 years I'm studying Taoist alchemy and practical internal alchemy.
35 years of studying inner alchemy with the Taoist tradition.
Yeah. So hence my name is Zikun, is probably for me is a main name, because this I understand real deep knowledge. After I related this knowledge with another things, this knowledge helped me understand all traditions. But I travel around of the world, try understand different alchemical traditions. So
yes.
This is.
Yeah, you're a real master at this. You're an alchemist of putting together ancient traditions with a very modern outlook. This has been my experience with you. So you're here in Damarot. This is not your first time. You've been leading your people here for a very special seminar called Karma Seminar. Mm-hmm. I would like to ask you two things. The first, if you can tell us a little bit what this seminar is about. And the second, why do you come to do it here? What do you find in our temples that you don't find in the mountains of China, for instance?
This is very strong seminar for me. It's very difficult, because I am not just teach people, I work with the negative energy. Because karma is not clean. Yes. Karma is karma. Yes. But of course, for me, this is unusual place. I visited 100, almost 80 countries. I saw
all the sacred places.
Maybe all what is around, not just places, people, everything. And when I saw this place, I thought this is no question, enjoy or not for me. I respect, that's all. So my position about the Malhut just one, respect. Without idea good or not, because everybody can say this or this, it's no interesting. It's of course, and after I said, okay, this place is very special, but need real prepare people be here. No, I mean external, internal. It's not my question. How people want, they can do. External, because I saw people who coming, they absolutely not ready. Be here. So I saw the eyes, they are looking but cannot communicate real. But is real. More and more people probably must know about this place. But for me, now is two ideas here. It's karma, and I'm working with teenagers.
With teenagers, yes, you've been bringing groups of teenagers, and this is really wonderful. You work with teenagers, you run them through programs, and then you select the ones you feel they're ready to this experience here. So I would have one last question for you, Oleg. Is there something special in Damanhur that inspires you?
I'm not emotional people.
You're not an emotional man.
Yeah, absolutely. I transfer all emotions, and if I see some correct places, correct people, it's for me is right position. For me, it's correct place.
And do you feel that Damanhur is this correct place?
It's correct place. Another question: how use correct place? So I'm find my goals here, and I keep here position, which I think important for me, for my group. Maybe it's interesting for Damanhur, who knows? But I'm looking from abdomen about world. I'm not looking from here.
Where are you looking from?
Abdomen.
Abdomen here? It's strange you say you're not an emotional person, because normally this is related to emotions.
Not. It's. I can talk a lot about this. It's idea about different kind of feelings, but I'm not depend from good or bad things. For me, life or death is the same.
Wow, that's a very profound statement that you're making, and I think this will really give all of the people listening to you today a lot to meditate upon.
Oh, it's good. It's maybe something new.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much, Oleg.
Thanks.